You are listening to Power Stance Gamers Podcast, the best place for quality tabletop banter. With your hosts, Jacob, Greg, and Muddy.
G'day everyone, welcome to this episode of Power Stance Gaming. My name is Jacob Connor, I'm your host. And with me, as always, is the man once voted Best Lizardman General, Mr. David Muddyman.
Hi guys.
And on the other side of the table, we have the man once voted Best Looking Brony at the My Little Pony convention.
Yeah, that didn't happen, but morning listeners.
Alright, that wasn't you?
Definitely not.
Alright, there you go.
I got a question. Why is it always morning?
Well, because it's released Saturday morning.
Oh, right.
It is too. I always say good night.
I'm looking out the window, it's pitch black.
It is, but whenever the listeners download it, it's...
got you.
But then I'm going to get weird about drinking in the morning.
Yeah, what are you going to say about that?
That's just a natural thing that you should do, I think.
Says the Irishman. Fulfilling all the stereotypes.
All you need is Guinness in a Mars bar. SAS,
that's a doctrine. That's what they swear by. That's a true fact. Listeners, by the way.
The SAS doctrine is Guinness in a Mars bar.
You can survive, you can get all your nutritional requirements out of a Mars bar and a pint of Guinness.
To be fair, I did not die during my university years, so there might be some...
But did you have 2-minute noodles?
When I could afford it.
Yeah. Oh, jeez, that's expensive. That's sad.
That's it. Top ramen. That's where it's all at. So, listeners, before we kick off today, you need to stay tuned to the end of the episode where Dave is going to share with us the entry conditions for the Archaon End Times giveaway.
Do you want Archaon? Then listen, and I'll tell you how to get it.
That was done without a voice changer as well. Well done, man.
That was impressive. I actually clenched my butt cheeks. That was good.
That was pure evil.
Wrestler. Nice.
While I got you here, Greg, what have you been up to this week?
Yeah, so continuing with Rory's Slow Grow League, had a game on Friday night.
Did you actually paint anything this time?
We just remain silent on that.
Oh,
it's always too easy when you talk about this league.
It is. You might want to bring it up soon.
Yeah.
And Lachlan Carter came around to my house to play a game, and I have to say, I feel sorry for the guy who came to the house because he is
because he played unpainted miniatures.
No, not quite.
Okay, yeah.
You've both been in my house. You know that we're all roughly about the same height.
Is he quite tall?
He's huge. He's the size of a door, and he could not stand up straight the whole time. So.
Did he bang his head?
He banged his head a couple times.
Oh, that's concrete, isn't it?
Well, it's wooden rafters. Yeah, so
damn.
I kept saying you got to sit down, but the cat was sitting on his chair, so
not Buzz.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So I felt really bad for him.
So is this how you beat your opponents now? You actually physically knock them out?
Yeah. So anybody listening, if you're going to come around to my house, you've got to be under 6 foot, otherwise it just doesn't work. I'm afraid. So, but we had lots of fun.
What was Lachlan playing?
Played Toha, which was really interesting.
I hate Toha.
Yeah, they're tough.
They're ridiculous.
Yep.
They do not fit in Infinity. I'm sorry.
Overpowered, maybe?
Not overpowered. They just have all these weird rules.
Controversy.
That just don't fit.
Yeah.
They stick out like dog's balls.
Power creep.
They are awkward to play.
Power creep. Look out.
I know among our listeners there's a few Toha players and they'll probably get on and tell me I'm wrong. But I'm used to that. I'm married. But it just seems, for me, they don't fit.
They are awkward to play against. They've got awkward rules. And we played, and Lachlan won the role. He chose to go second, chose deployment, picked the sniper tower for that primary reason. And unfortunately for him, I rambled up with 2 hexes. Killed his sniper, which was his main piece, and killed his lieutenant first turn. So it was kind of no coming back from there. So
damn. How many points were we playing?
150 annihilation mission.
Very small points.
And recon rules, which I don't know if you've heard of.
Yeah.
Wicked way to start the slow grow.
Yep.
We played the recon rules in the first mission as well. Now we're into the third mission. It's more proper ITS. So yeah, excellent game. Lachlan was a brilliant opponent. Felt sorry for the guy, the fact that he kept banging his head against our ceiling, but no major injuries occurred, and really good opponent to play.
Nice.
Lots of fun.
Nice. Good stuff. I mean, that's the benefit of slow grow leagues, isn't it?
Yeah.
Breach out and play players you don't normally play.
Yeah. No, top guy. Muddy, what have you been up to?
Well, since the last cast, I finished off the Romans. I'm pretty sure. I think that only just happened, and I've been really busy at work, so I haven't done too much. Although I did play a bit of Walking Dead with the Slopster, which was a good game. And he actually beat me too. Not happy.
That's not good.
Not happy, but no, it's a good game. That is about all.
Who were you running? Who was your crew?
I'm trying. Oh, don't quote me on all their names. I bet it was my usual Michonne and Abraham type thing.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So double beat stick. So
Yeah, and he kept getting the loot, like the resources or whatever, the equipment. He'd flip over the card and there was like nothing in them.
Yeah.
So then you're just like, oh, how do I've got to kill him. But he had who's the guy with the knife?
Oh, Pedo Pete.
Yeah, the pedo guy.
Pete.
I just could not. That guy, I couldn't kill him for some reason. And the zombies, all the zombies went to him, and you loaded him up with that the blood gore.
Yeah,
thing.
Gorstein Rags, yeah.
They don't touch him.
No.
So he had a herd of zombies on it, right next to him. I thought, oh, this guy's fine. I don't have to touch him. I'll go off elsewhere. No, didn't touch him.
Yep.
And even when the threat tracker went up, it's 50-50 at that point.
Yep.
Just didn't do anything.
Yep.
He blew himself up even. He opened up one of the
bomb.
Yeah, exploded, and he just not a pip. It's just so annoying.
Nice.
But anyway, that's me done. That's my week.
That's rough. So you painted Walking Dead. That's a decent week.
Yeah, I've done some more painting. I got another 2 finished today that I've literally just done. They knock out pretty quick. So I've got out of that initial box, I've got I think 2 zombies and 2 survivors left.
Nice.
One of which is Carl.
Yeah.
I just can't bring myself to paint that little prick.
After Andrea, he's my favourite.
Yeah, I know. That's why he just keeps sitting there. I keep looking at him going, I just don't want to touch you.
Why is he your favourite?
Because he's got an item called Carl's
the
Lucky
lucky
Hat.
Oh, the hat. Yep.
And it's on that ridiculous black dice.
Yep.
When he gets put to
50-50.
0 wounds, he comes back. And it's beautiful, because even if he gets bitten, he comes back.
He just keeps
That's
coming
insane,
back.
isn't it?
And he keeps rolling it up, and it's so annoying.
To be fair, though, it's super characterful, because Carl eats shit constantly in The Walking Dead. He
Yeah.
gets shot,
even off the TV
gets
show.
shot in the face.
You got shot in the stomach at the farm.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Then you had the guy nearly rape him with the.
Yeah. He's just really hard to kill.
Yeah. He manages to get out of things. Just.
So, I think it's great. I mean, and I said that about in our review. It was one of the things I loved about the game.
The theme,
it brings
yeah.
the characters to life.
Yep.
So,
What about you, Jacob? What have you been up to?
mate, I've had a couple of busy weeks at work. I know, feel sorry for me. Nah, it was ridiculous. But I did manage to do a bit of painting. Had my new Malifaux crew arrive.
Oh.
Thanks, Muddy.
Yeah, no worries,
Thank
buddy.
you.
No worries.
And I do need to make a correction. I told you that Malifaux was plastic. All
it a
the
resin?
new stuff is plastic.
Okay.
The older edition miniatures, which are pretty hard to come by now,
Yeah, no, I'm not interested.
for
I had
the
a.
most part,
Yep.
are metal. But the new
just to
stuff's
jump in on
plastic.
the Malifaux thing, I had a quick look online. Which crews did you get?
I got the Latigo posse.
Yeah,
The
they're
guild?
kind of like cowboys.
They're cowboy ones,
Yep,
basically. And I've got the Red Chapel.
Red Chapel, I don't know.
Kill it.
I'm
And
gonna.
that's the zombies,
I want Neverborn.
Victorian zombies.
I think I want Neverborn.
Yeah, Neverborn are pretty cool.
Yeah, they're pretty creepy.
I haven't looked at them at all.
I'm thinking I might pick up a box pretty soon.
I did look at the rules that you sent, and I just unbelievable.
Remind our
Unbelievable.
listeners that you can download the rules for free online. Get the full rulebook there. So,
They are just amazing rules.
mm.
Really.
Yeah, I haven't gone through
spectacular.
I didn't go through the rules. I was looking at the black powder rules.
Yeah.
There's no points.
It doesn't need to be points.
Oh, it does my head in. Straight away, I was just looking at it going, oh, how do I build the army? I guess you just have to go, well, we're going to play a gentleman's agreement. Let's bring a brigade. But then I'm
Yep.
like, I don't know. There's no points.
Can I just say, I'll just chime in as well.
It's a cigar game. It's like 2 gentlemen fully with the cigars. Just-
Absolutely. And smoking jackets.
I get it. I'm gonna have to get into that.
Snifter report.
I'm gonna have to get into that frame. I'm gonna have. You're not gonna jump in on it, are you?
No, this
Will
this
be a
is
true,
No.
true slow grow.
is often a tangent talking about rules.
Okay.
Top tip, listeners. You heard it from me first of all. Giving you relationship advice here. Do not read a ton of rules in a day, and then try and get special cuddles in the night, because it just does not work. It does not work.
How does your brain work, dude? I
just-
honestly do not understand it.
when I'm trying to get to sleep, I read Spectre's rules, Malifaux's rules, and Warpath's rules all in one day, and I kept going back to it. Like, it wasn't like I read them in the morning. I kept reading them all throughout the day, and come night time.
You know, he has his own brain. It's on
little head.
auto.
This big head in his head.
Yeah, Roger Ramjet.
Yeah, but when I was in bed, I kept thinking about it. I was like, oh, what about this? What about that? What about that? And I just couldn't switch off. It was not good. So listeners, don't read too many rules. You heard it from me first.
He needs serious help.
Therapy. Seriously.
Anyone out there who knows someone that can help Greg, he's having a lot of issues.
Back on topic.
Yeah, where were we? You were talking about the Malifaux guys that came up and you were just starting to prep them, I'm assuming?
Yeah, prepped them. I'm gonna bang down some base coats, and hopefully this week I'll get them knocked out. So I'll post up some progress on Workbench Wednesday.
Yep, sweet.
Wednesday Workbench, what do we call it?
I know, you got to get it done, don't you?
Yeah, I feel a bit of pressure.
I knocked one out today, literally, because I was...
You knocked one out today? Really?
At least I can. my jump works. I quickly knocked out one of the Walking Dead ones because literally I'm waiting for my next batch of Romans from Victrix to turn up. I've got realistically nothing to paint. I thought, I've got a couple of Walking Dead guys to do. I'll just quickly knock them out because I've got to put something up on Workbench Wednesday.
Yeah,
I'm still trying to work that out, to be honest, fellas. So you'll have to maybe after this show me how to do it.
How to put pictures up.
Yeah. Posts on Facebook.
But
yeah,
as
just
me, not as the show.
Ah, gotcha.
Because it keeps coming up the show on my phone.
Oh, mate, just put it in the mail and send it to
send
me.
the photographs
I'll
to you.
do it for you.
Yeah, okay. I'll print off the photographs at Officeworks and then send you the post to them. Okay.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, right.
All right. That's brilliant. So, that's pretty much me, just the Malifaux stuff. And looking forward to playing more games. I played Walking Dead the other night.
Yep.
And I've
Who'd
got
you play?
a couple of games. I played Jerry Lee.
Ah, nice.
Yep. So that went down like a ton of bricks.
But
no, she enjoyed it.
Did she beat you?
It doesn't matter who won. I think
she smashed
No, but he's smart.
I think the
Smart thing to
real
do.
winner
You realise
here-
that, don't you? Because like,
Yeah, but
you get the sympathy.
he
the
didn't
real winner
have
is
that
our
look.
relationship.
He did not have that look like
No.
I just gave her the game, so
Yeah.
she'll play again. No,
I
it was
lost. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
She
Do you know what it
smashed me.
was? It was that Black Sheriff's dice.
Oh,
It
the one that
burned me
works so
constantly.
well for Carl.
There was one bit where Rick killed, I think I posted this on the Facebook, Rick killed 3 zombies he was surrounded with, dropped them all.
Yep.
And then not one of them got back up. And I'm like, that's
I can't
ridiculous.
even do that with Michonne. I just cannot get
Yeah,
those
like,
headshots.
didn't headshot them, they were prone.
Yep.
50-50 on each one to get back up.
Yep.
So what's that? That's getting up into the realms of 85%, closer to 87%.
Yeah, 87%.
That one of them should get up. So, anyway, but that was the story of my game.
Sounds
And,
like dice cancer again.
Didn't even get
Dice.
special cuddles.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
blaming dice.
I know
again.
special colours.
No special
So
cuddles.
wait up,
That's crap.
wait up.
No,
Let me
that's-
go. Let's see the score so far. 0-0-1.
Oh, hang on. Are you talking special cuddles? I said, listeners, don't do it if you want to get special cuddles. I didn't say special cuddles didn't
It
happen.
didn't work.
That's not what I said.
It doesn't
I
count.
said, there's a block there. You need to work through it. You
I
just
can
like
imagine
everything,
me
just
go,
like any good rule system.
Come
you
on,
need
little
to work-
fella. Come on.
You need to punch through it. You need to make that work.
All right.
It's
It's
$40 a
2-1.
pill. Come on, get up
Come
there.
That's you get that off the pharmaceutical benefit scheme,
PBS.
Medicare, whatever.
I thought you were going to say disability
Taxpayer,
scheme.
the taxpayer pays for that. Though.
Disability, yeah. Right, what was I even saying? Oh, that's right, yeah. So play that, and I've got quite a few games lined up this week because my wife goes back to work for night shifts, which means house
Party
mine
time.
again.
Yeah.
Isn't that sad? I'm not like, yeah, gonna drink up, gonna party. I'm like, I'm gonna play games with my boys.
Some games.
There you go. What else did you?
After I put the kids to bed.
After put the kids to bed,
And
clean
get their
up
lunches ready for
mess.
tomorrow.
Yeah, get the lunches ready.
Alright, lads, so that's a pretty busy week. I think that leads us nicely into our next segment, which is, of course, Greg.
The
News to us.
Oh my god.
All right, boys. Massive times, like massive news we've had since the past podcast. We'll just quickly run through the bits and pieces. Feel free to chime in whenever I mention something that you're particularly interested in.
Mhm.
First of all, straight up, we've got Corvus Belli announcing Articia, the board game, which is interesting. Bit of
I heard a few ruffles.
bit
going
of
on
traffic
about this.
on the Infinity Australia
Yeah.
Facebook page.
Yeah,
What's the gripe? I don't get it.
I don't get it either. Because, and this
It's
is the
set
thing.
in the Infinity world, right?
Yep.
Yep.
What's the
It's okay. So, spin-off. Just to explain to the listeners who are
Yep.
not aware of Infinity, Articia is a spin-off of Infinity the game, which is a 28mm tabletop sci-fi skirmish game, and Articia is the gladiatorial what they watch in the future as far as entertainment.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
arena
TV.
combat,
So it's a
basically.
sports
It's
game.
televised. Yeah.
Death, by death. So it's you're there. You got snipers shooting each other. You got like hand-to-hand combat.
I'm just
But
trying
it's
to
very
think
much.
of
I think it's like one-on-one.
the movie back in the
Running Man.
Running Man.
Yeah.
yeah.
It
Something in that
kinda,
ilk.
kinda. Yeah.
I reckon.
Is it?
Could
Have
do
people
that.
got gripes with it because it's a sports game where like,
No,
a lot of companies have
well,
kind of done
Jacob-
it?
Well, see, this is the thing that gets me. And I'll post this up on Infinity Australia, so I repeat myself, sorry if you heard it. That Corvus Belli lack an entry into the game.
Yep.
There's only Infinity, and they have the starter sets, but that's Infinity. There's no nice little step into it for a casual gamer or to introduce a casual gamer
Yep.
to Infinity. You pretty much drop them bang into the rules. And Infinity has a steep learning curve.
It's from someone on the outside looking in, it's known to be quite a chunk to get your head around.
So the fact that Corvus Belli are making a board game using plastic, or
Well, we don't know yet. It's unclear whether or not it'll even have miniatures. I don't think people are sort of saying it will have miniatures, but I'm thinking I don't see anywhere where it specifically said it'll have. It said
miniatures game,
it's going to be running parallel with Infinity the game, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be miniatures. And to be honest, thinking about it, you sort of take this in your brain, move forward, and think, well, if it's a board game, what do board games come with? They come with plastic pieces. You very rarely get metal pieces.
Yeah,
I can't see it being, lead miniatures or pewter miniatures coming with this game.
Right, but the big thing that gets me is people, Infinity players, are griping a little bit, saying that they're not catering to us, the Infinity players. And it's like, of course they're not. You have the game Infinity that caters to Infinity players. Corvus Belli, and again, I don't want to say that wargamers sometimes get a bit entitled about games that they're into.
Yeah.
But
They own it.
yeah, and I appreciate that you invest your time and your money into it. But if Corvus Belli want to bring out a game that is designed to introduce new people into their world and their IP, then good on them. That's not a slight at any player, and it's not like they owe you an Infinity board game. It's a completely different thing.
Just like the manga that they recently released, Outrage manga, that is, you could argue to a certain extent, that's aimed at comic book stroke manga readers and a different genre altogether, but it's something similar that could then draw you into the game. And then the back of the magazine or the back of the manga, there is a one-page, essentially sales page showing Infinity the game. So 100%, it's not directly involved with the game, but it's another avenue to get people into the game, just like Articia. I think it's a great thing, personally.
Is this a similar sort of thing to perhaps the Blood Bowl situation in the Warhammer universe?
As in it sort of runs
It's
parallel.
not necessarily a part of the Warhammer IP, but it kind of sort of is. It's sort of
100%.
Yeah.
It's
in between,
it's
a
a
bit of
very
limbo.
good way to compare the two.
I think a
products.
really interesting thing will be is that there's already a couple of characters in the game that are like big stars of the arena, basically. And the mercenary is like Signor Massacre or
Achilles.
Achilles, of course. So I think it'd be interesting to see whether they translate across to the game at all.
Is this also a test for them to get plastic minis into their line for possible further releases into the main
It's
Infinity line?
Very interesting you should say that. The reason being, there was some comments made about the plastic minis, and the general view was that it's a huge expense to redo the tooling and to make essentially a resin machine to pump out these miniatures. So maybe that's their way to fund a machine that could potentially produce plastic miniatures. The truth is, we don't know, but if that's the way forward, I think that's a really good idea.
It's a good way to test the market, though, to see if if there's a market to push for that angle.
Yeah.
That's it. And is it being kickstarted?
No, it's not being kickstarted.
Ooh.
All right,
Oh, if it had
And
been, I would have
released-
been all over it too.
and released sometime.
It's not. I could not have lived with the Corvus Valley
I'm
Kickstarter.
going to look that up.
Release later this year, folks, so we will keep you posted when we hear more information. What else we've got? We've got the Guild Ball resculpts by Steamforged. I don't know if you've seen them, fellas, but they look
I've seen that they're bringing.
spectacular.
I've seen them bringing out new teams and stuff, but I don't like. I know that it's a sports game.
Yeah, I cannot
but
wait
I've never
to review that.
I've never played it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know Guild Ball exists, but
Yeah.
that's my extent of knowledge on Guild Ball. So.
Yeah, I'm not the sport as far as sports games goes. I'm a Blood Bowler. That's about it.
Well, looking at the sculpts, I can't wait till we review this. The sculpts look amazing.
Well, are you looking at this as something you actually want to play?
Well, I just look at the miniatures and go,
Yeah.
wow, they just look fantastic.
yeah. Okay. Mm.
We also had Night Models releasing Lex Luthor's crew. You would have probably seen that on.
Oh, the DC
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, check that out. Yeah,
Again, just fantastic, aren't they?
yeah, but Lex Luthor's such a bitch.
Oh, what?
I'm sorry, he is.
Gosh.
Yeah, I don't know what his problem is with Superman.
Because he's Superman. Everybody wants to be the best. And how can you be the best when
Yeah.
you got Superman?
don't know.
Kryptonite soon beats him.
Well, that's what Lex is always trying to
and
get
he's
his
sitting
hands
there,
on.
and the model's
Yeah.
sitting there with his little bit of kryptonite,
Yeah.
which looks.
That's how Batman
fantastic.
tells him up too.
Oh, look, the model's great.
Yeah.
I think it's cool, but yeah, he's just never grabbed me as a villain.
Okay.
There's a lot of cool DC villains. Don't get me wrong.
I think they've got. I know we have our debates, but if you pick out of the villains, I think DC probably win the villain battle.
Yeah,
Yeah, you'd agree with that.
I'd agree with
I think
that.
they've got the better, like the Joker and whatnot. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that's just hands down.
Yeah.
Stellar. Yeah.
What else we got? We got the new Thousand Suns kits from Forge World, and if you haven't seen these, Muddy, you gotta check them out.
Oh, it's 40
They're
pounds.
but they're all
Yeah,
Egyptian
it's
based.
Egyptian though.
I
man.
know.
They
I get all of that.
They
but
look
it's,
unbelievable.
they're not Necrons. That's Tomb Kings in space.
But they got the big Egyptian heads. And they're
but they're not Egyptian robots
Alright,
in space,
okay.
are they?
like, yeah, right. Jacob, one for you. We've got Star Wars RPG, the fully operational source book.
Yes,
How many of these books have you got?
all of them.
At some point, like,
Well, there's
have you
the
not got
the three
line-
core rule books, right? And
Yeah.
then each rule book has 8 careers in it, and then each career has its own book as well. So there's going to be 24 career books, and then they've got source books around that for campaigns and stuff. So I've got a very expensive bookshelf.
I was
full of
about to
Star
say,
Wars
how
books.
much are these books a pop?
Career books, you get them for about 45 to 50, depending on where you buy them.
And there's 24 of them.
But they're beautiful
Don't
books.
do the maths.
They are beautiful books, though.
I've
Yeah,
flipped
they
through
are.
some of yours
Yeah.
when we've been playing. I think maybe we might have been playing Armada one night.
Yeah.
But hat off to you. They're a great book. Can you get them digitally? Out of curiosity.
No.
Oh, why?
I don't know. That's a question you could probably flick to FFG.
Yeah, I love having. Like, I used to love having. No, you know what? I still do like having that feeling of having the book but the digital stuff it's just so much more convenient. It doesn't take up any space at your house. You can never get a coffee stain on it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
true.
You never have pages falling out of the book.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah, I
take
think
it everywhere you
The
go.
difference is with these books though, they're not table. You don't have them at the table with you.
Yeah.
They're kind of a reference book when you're planning or doing your stuff.
It's an
and
encyclopedia.
you might pull them out at the end of the game
Yeah.
and do the stuff, but your character sheet has all the information on it anyway.
Okay.
So it's only really when you're doing your XP at the end of a session or something you ever have the book out in front of you. The rule book's a different story. You'll have the rule book out if you're referring to that. And they're just gorgeous. Like, I think I don't want to say they're an investment, but I'll keep them forever.
Well, your
Because
investment then.
I mean, they're brilliant, and their quality just keeps getting better as well. Yeah, it's on my order
It's on your
list.
radar.
Yeah,
Cool. And Come On Miniatures have
Yes.
they've released the news about Song of Fire and Ice, Muddy.
Yes.
Pretty
Now,
exciting, eh?
I sent some links over. I'm assuming you've read them. I looked
Yeah.
at the pics. I was all about the pics, and the pics were off the chart. The models look good. They had some there that were painted, and they were in essentially let's be honest, Lord of the Rings bases. Now,
Yeah.
I love it. I love the Lord of the Rings bases. Round bases, minis, you put them in the Lord of the Rings bases. You flock the base and everything else. They look tip top. you've got reservations, Jacob, on the bases, but I think this is going to look pretty damn cool.
Yeah, again, it's not reservations. I just think maybe it's because I'm too used to playing skirmish games now.
Yep.
I think it looks a bit clumsy.
Okay.
So I know it's convenient for pushing models around the table, but something about it. I think if you ranked up square bases, yes, look great. But these models look like they're designed to be individual. There's enough detail in them and the size, like they're individual
They're
models.
decent size.
So I think, and again, I don't know when I see it on the tabletop or when I see a fully painted skirmish, because the trays weren't painted in the pictures.
Yeah,
either,
I think
and that kind of sticks out like dog's balls. But yeah, it's not that I have reservations. I almost think because I agree with you, the miniatures look amazing.
Yeah. Oh God, I hope the rules are as good as the minis.
Yeah, and I think they actually lose something when they're ranked up like that.
So here's a question for you. Could this be the game that fills the fantasy void?
Is there a fantasy void? Is this a fantasy? Oh, I don't think this fills a fantasy void because it's Kingdoms of Men versus Kingdoms of Men. There may be some dragons. There's a couple of wolves. What else?
Yeah, I don't know. I think
You got undead.
Yeah, but it's not.
You got
I don't
giants.
know. It's not like
You got the
it's-
wargs and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
like,
alright,
you know,
but
beyond
it's-
the wall, you've got all those various creatures that haven't really been fleshed out.
Yeah, well, if they are going to get fleshed out, I'm assuming it's going to be quite a wait. I don't know. If you're playing fantasy, you're either playing Ninth, Kings of War, or Wrath of Kings, and obviously, Fantasy Flight's now got Rune Wars as well, which is getting a bit of traffic. But I don't think this will fill some sort of fantasy void. What it'll do is put people that are interested in that whole IP a way of expressing it on a tabletop.
yeah, agree.
Yeah.
And that's going to be its biggest selling point.
Yeah, that is the selling point. Like, it's great to have nice minis, but these rules need to back it up as well, because otherwise you're just going to be no real reason to go pick up something new. You know?
Yeah, and the scale, they're bigger models, aren't they?
They look bigger.
35
They're
mil.
probably heroic scale.
Yeah, so I don't even know whether you could put them in with a fantasy
I wouldn't
army
think
that
so.
might look out of place.
I wouldn't think so.
Oh, currently Age Sigmar is
Yeah, but
35.
Yeah,
is
but
it?
that's
32 or something.
that's a completely separate.
Oh no,
kettle
just
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
know.
going back to what you could potentially.
Yeah.
do. But I think it'd be interesting to see the rule set for sure.
Well, if they were big enough, if they were as big as those Sigmarine whatevers, you could run them as ogres.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're that sort of size.
So we've also got Forgewell releasing their Skaven Blood Bowl team, which
Yes.
looks amazing.
Have you seen these, Jacob?
No, I haven't. No.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah.
They got the tingles going again. I'm just waiting to see how many more teams they're going to be bringing out, because so far the teams that I think it was goblins and whatnot as well. They've done some dwarfs. They're really good. The minis are actually really good.
Yeah.
I
That
don't know
dwarf Death Roller.
I don't
Yeah,
know if
it's pretty incredible.
it's too little, too late.
Maybe for us.
Maybe, but
We
if anyone
Blood
else
Bowl's
that's
hard.
never played this before, you should get on this, because it's such a good game.
In campaign mode.
Just don't play it crazily.
No, in campaign mode, it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it
a
really
lot of fun.
was.
2 or 3 times a week for 2.5 years, though.
3 years, wasn't it? It was 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, we smashed it.
We
That
smashed
last
it.
season kind of just hung in there, and then it's
Yeah.
good
We've got
times, though.
It
Warlord
was.
Games releasing reinforcements for bolt action. We've got the British Airborne set and the US Flamethrower team, which look great. I don't know if you boys seen it, but I look and whilst it doesn't float my boat, it's for all the bolt action players out there. I'm sure if you've got the Brits or the Yanks, you'll be onto that gear.
If I was going to get into any of these, Warlord Games, great company and everything else, great minis. If I was going to get into that genre, I would have gone the Conflict one, which is essentially the same, relatively same minis, but they've got that alternate history.
Yeah, alternative
type.
history.
Yeah.
It looks brilliant.
They look really cool
Yeah.
because they've got like the weird tanks,
The walkers,
and
yeah,
whatnot.
yep.
Yeah,
I'm onto that,
that'd
yeah.
be more the genre I'd go. Yeah,
We've also got the Fallout 4 minis, which have been sort of a bit more
Yeah,
released
that's-
and fleshed out.
Fantastic. And again, as I said 2 weeks ago when we were talking about it, the quality matching of just the renders, of course, we haven't seen the minis.
Yeah, correct, yeah.
But they so spot on with the game. Like the Mr. Handy robot, the spherical robot with the little arms and stuff. Perfect. Like, just incredible.
They're nailing it.
They're absolutely nailing
So
it.
this could be like the Fire and Ice.
Yeah.
Great minis. Let's see some rules. Let's get it.
Yeah,
I
100%.
think a good thing is there's already a couple of, even if the rules are pants, and I hope they're not pants.
Don't
because-
talk it down already.
No, I'm trying to measure my
He's
excitement
optimistic.
for this.
Because if you're going low,
Yeah,
there's only one way out.
that's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Gotcha.
Although, I still walked out of Batman vs Superman.
Why has he got to do that? I thought it was a great
Well, I said
movie.
something nice about DC before. I've got to reel it back in.
That movie is for the fans.
All right.
If you weren't a fan, that movie would suck for you. I have no doubt. But someone like me is like, oh, how are you going to get this to go to this and that? I was like a kid candied up.
All right. Sorry, Martha. I didn't mean to.
Oh, except for that, I could get that. That's the one line. You're like, oh.
Anyway, back to what I was saying. What was I saying? Oh, yeah.
4.
Keep my expectations low. There are a couple of interesting post-apocalyptic skirmish rule sets out there that are worth checking out. Gosh, I hope they do this well. And I have faith, because Modiphius.
Yeah, they're doing. Looks
Oh.
like they're doing stellar work for the Infinity
Infinity
RPG.
Is there a time frame? They haven't released anything yet as yet? Okay. Cool.
And then we've got the 40k changes, which keep happening almost daily by the looks of things from G-Dub. And
Well, this is
Really
really
can't
gone
keep
from
up
a
with them.
trickle to a torrent,
Yeah.
really, that they're
Mm.
just putting all this stuff out.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether they're worried about a leak or whether they're building excitement, but it's almost to a point of saturation. That
Yeah.
It's not far off, right?
June.
June.
Yeah.
July? June.
so really
Okay.
potentially 3 weeks,
3
2
weeks.
weeks.
So
Yep.
it's got to come at some point.
Yeah. I reckon they'll pick up the rulebook and open it and go, I know all this already. Like, there's going to be no
Yes,
excitement for me to...
No,
Open
you
the
will.
rules.
but
You-
then with new Space Marine sets and sort of I'll grab that because I know it works. It's
Oh, I'm
it's-
going to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why they're doing it, so you don't have to get the set, digest it, and then wait and then buy gear. It's like you already know what all the stuff is, and you can already go and buy stuff.
I do like digesting rules, though. I like to sit on them.
slow grow.
Slow grow.
40k slow grow.
Yeah.
Can you do it with
A
painted
tale of
miniatures?
3 gamers
Yeah, I'd be
for
I'd be
40k.
keen for that.
When was the like?
with my painted orcs.
Yeah.
yeah.
I know you'll cheat, but
At least they'll be painted, I
Oh.
guess.
I'll just do with the Necrons as well.
Until they release the big killing monster, I'll put that on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt. No doubt.
Well, let's wait and see. I think only another hopefully
Well, we haven't got
2
long.
weeks,
That's it.
and then we'll be into it. We'll be able to update our listeners in the news section as to what the changes are. And then we're on to Mantic stuff. Muddy.
All right, I'll be really quick. Mantic news. Summer campaign. I believe it starts in about August and it runs for about 6 weeks. Now, this is pretty big because there's a lot of things happening with this campaign. One, the map's actually going to change, not like other campaigns that other companies have ran.
Storm Chaos.
Yeah, this one apparently will change. And going with that, they appear to be listening to what people are saying, and critics alike, that there's not
Why did
enough...
you look at me when he said critics?
Oh, I'm a critic too. Not enough characters. There's not enough...
Magic?
Well, not necessarily magic. Well, they've just updated, given more magic and new items, so that's already been looked at and done. But they're basically bringing in the map changes, and they're bringing in... They dropped a line. It was about formations.
Oh, right.
What does that mean? Now,
Well, that worked so well in 40k last edition, didn't it?
well, what
Buy
this
more
is-
miniatures from Mantic.
No, what
it
they're
means.
saying is if you put in maybe some of the units, what we're guessing at is if you put in some units maybe that don't get used very often in whatever in some sort of selection.
Like the 60 bunch of zombies.
I don't know what they'll be, but they may get something like a stat boost because you're using these possibly these units that aren't getting used.
That could lead to balancing issues, could it not?
Yeah.
It could, but this is Mantic. I don't think they've got a balancing issue.
When you look at what happened with 40k when they brought in formations, and they're like,
Destroyed it.
yeah, here's a formation
Yeah.
that lets you have
Well,
5
that's what people.
giant knights. Go and buy 4 more knights.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
what people. That's where some people are already going with the argument. I'm going to say, let's wait and see what comes out, because it's not. This isn't Games Workshop who had traditionally power creepers. We can all say that.
Yeah, and they're a miniatures company.
Yeah,
So they
and
wanted you to
Mantic-
buy their miniatures.
I would say it's not power creeping. It's more this edition focused on this type of miniature, which meant you went out and bought it all. And then guess what? The rest of their line people didn't buy it because they were useless. So the next edition focused on that particular element to boost it. And it was just constant rebalancing, boosting to get people to buy miniatures.
Also, what's important to note with this as well is that a lot of these changes are purely for this campaign. So whether or not they then take them, and if they're essentially, I'm assuming, testing the waters to see how things work, i.e. play testing with thousands of people playing the game, figuring out what works, what's maybe too much, and then possibly incorporating it into the game proper with another supplement later.
That's bloody clever, isn't it? It's such a clever
very
move.
Clever, and that is Mantic to a T.
Yeah.
Okay?
That is very clever.
So, in this too, the story apparently will be progressing in the campaign as well.
They're going to blow up the world.
No, they're not going to. Oh, God. Well,
and call it something else rather than Mantic.
I think they need to actually develop a story before they can blow up the world.
So that's a bit of criticism of Mantic Cop, though. And Kings of War doesn't have much fluff.
So, if you look back at the criticisms that Kings of War's received, the main criticisms I would say is characters, not enough there, there's not enough story, and magic. I'd say they're the three big killers, okay? Well, they've already dealt with the magic. They've brought in new spells in the Clash of Kings. They brought in new items to keep the game fresh. They're now looking at updating the map and changing the map, and also going back in time to show you what the map looked like previously. So there'll be progression of the map to show you how it's evolved.
Yeah, cool.
New characters, and like I said, they're changing, possibly bringing in some form of formations, just to mix things up a little. So I think they're listening to people as well. With the Mantic guys, they got the terrain crate. That's all wrapped up. $630,000.
And you didn't back it, so I could get on it cheap.
Yeah, cheeky bugger. No, I just thought I'll grab it later once it comes out, because last time we did The Walking Dead, you got it at the same time that I got it, and I backed it anyway. So but 630,000 wrapped up. So that's pretty good. Something for you.
Yeah. What?
Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
The Lee and Clementine models, which sold out.
Yeah.
They're coming back, baby.
Yeah, as
November.
What is it? Convention releases.
November. These are the next.
Not as general retail though.
No. In November they'll do another. You can order it online.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of this.
But it's in tune.
Limited edition miniatures.
Yeah.
Limited edition miniatures with really nice rules.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like Clementine can pick what speciality she is before the game.
All right.
And little things like that. You go, yeah, they're actually kinda great characters.
Well,
there's demand for them. And again, it's great marketing.
Yep.
I'll give Mantic that. They know
bloody
how to
clever
market
too.
their product. Yeah, it's...
How many points?
I can't remember the points.
Because we thought Turret Andrea was the shit, and then chomp chomp.
Oh, it's not
100
about how
points.
they go in the game. It's about a nice mini from the Telltale Adventures adventure game, which people recognise. They're recognisable characters with nice rules, limited edition. We're only going to release them for like this one little window. Get on it. Like it's
essentially they release it on the open days. That's the impression I'm getting. So the next open day is in November, so you'll be able to get online and order it again, because apparently it went really quick. I think Slopster got one. He just happened to wake up, and he hopped online and just went, "Oh, I'll go buy one of these." He just happened to wake up. He
That's
didn't set his
classic.
alarm or anything.
Yeah.
That's my wrap up of the news.
Warpath. You didn't mention Warpath.
I've downloaded the free rules. I like it. I know it's once again it's going to be a simplistic game.
Summarize it in one sentence.
Simplistic, but awesome. You know what I like? It's going to be futuristic games on ranked up little things, but they're kind of in a group, like a proper unit. Yeah. Which means you're going to be able to have lots of models on, and that's one of the things I always found with the 40k. It's like 5 dudes, and it's just a couple of 5.
But you know what that says to me? It says to me that movement and cover and the things that you want from a sci-fi skirmish game aren't going to matter, because it's going to be abstracted.
Or it's harder. Yeah.
Dude, I just want to push around lots of models, man.
And go pew pew.
What was Mantic's big thing? Building bigger armies. That's their shtick.
Yeah.
It's not like Infinity, where you've got your 6 dudes, and like their thing is pretty hardcore rules, line of sights, all this sort of with a few models.
Yeah.
Their thing is
a few beautiful models.
Yeah. We want really big armies on the board. That's their thing. So
Yeah. Look, I mean, I get it.
Yep.
I
it's
get it.
Napoleonics in space, bro.
Yeah.
It's
With
Kings
points.
of War with laser guns.
Yeah,
that's what it
basically.
is, really.
Yeah, who doesn't want to do that? So if Mantic's listening, what I want you guys to do...
Have you tweeted Ronnie yet?
I'm going to
Jesus.
tweet him. I want an Uncharted Empires release, like they did for Kings of War, for Warpath, so I can get my Necrons on the board.
Yeah. And you
what I
should do
want.
it because he won't need to buy any miniatures, and you've got free rules for him, so
Yes.
I don't see any reason why they would want to do that.
Well, they did it before. They've done Uncharted Empires for Kings of War, specifically for that. So, crack on.
Specifically for you.
Yeah, basically.
Dear Ronnie, I'm writing this in my best
I got
crown.
the Tomb Kings. Yeah, I got the Tomb Kings in there. And the
Please make me let Tomb Kings on the battlefield. Thank you, Tar.
And he did.
He's a good
Rob.
bloke. He's a good bloke.
Yeah.
And I think, Jacob, any more news?
No, I'm out. That's covered everything.
Yeah, cool.
Very comprehensive.
Muddy?
No, all good.
Awesome.
All right, lads, let's get straight into our next segment, which is the whip around. We might get an actual whip sound.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, our whip around question tonight comes from a very good friend of the show, Mr. Greg Burgess.
Ooh, burgers.
And he sent in a little cheeky question that initially got the reaction of banned, I believe.
Oh, this is the one I banned.
Yep.
Why are we
No, we
talking
didn't ban
about
it.
this?
We're talking about something completely different. You went off on a tangent.
No, this
No,
got banned.
this question was
topic.
banned. However,
Oh,
the ban has been rescinded.
All right.
Due
How
to
did that
popular
happen?
demand.
Who banned it?
I did.
All right.
Apparently that means frack all.
Well, I think the ban got lifted when we realised that our wives are never going to listen to this shit anyway.
That's
so-
right, yeah.
Oh, except mine can probably hear me.
Yeah. So the
Question, this is
question...
a professional recording studio. Nobody can hear us.
Yeah, all the egg cartons.
Live
Everywhere.
from CNN.
Radio Central.
Yeah, baby.
And what Greg wants to know, and we thank you for his question. Remind the listeners, if you want a
Yeah,
question,
thanks heaps for this one, Greg.
send it in. Greg asks, how much do we spend on hobby?
Straight to Greg, look at him.
Oh, are you joking,
Deer in
man?
the headlights.
Oh,
He's like,
no.
I'll go first. You want me to go
yeah.
first?
I think
You want me to go first?
Jacob, you go first.
Oh.
Because Jacob's got the best rationale. He's got the best rationale.
I'll just copy what he says.
Alright. So I don't have a budget per se.
I bet you don't.
I've
It's
got-
the 24 fucking...
Didn't you tell your good lady that you do have a sort of budget?
I
That
mean-
a numerical value that you work towards?
As I mean, I don't have like an amount I set aside every week and go, this is my gaming money. Okay? But I roughly go $100 a fortnight. Okay? I'll put a dollar figure
Yeah,
on
okay.
about $100. What that gets me every fortnight maybe is a handful of new blisters or a rule book or something decent. And if I want to blow a couple of $100, then I just won't buy anything next fortnight.
Do you
So I
actually
kind of-
stick to that?
I try
formula?
to, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Every now and again, like I might go to BrizCon and like a shitload of cash might fall out of my wallet.
Yep.
And I might cheat a little bit.
Yep.
But generally, I go, it's a decent. I try and keep it within the realms of about 100, because as I said, $100 a fortnight. I can't paint miniatures any faster than I already do.
Yep.
So I don't want a big backlog of unpainted miniatures. I've got enough games on the go anyway. It's not like I have to collect new armies or anything like that. If for instance, 40k comes in, I might drop a couple of $100 to get the rule
To
book
get it going.
and
Yeah.
get a couple of squads of Space Marines or
That's
something
the
like
thing
that.
with when you're starting up a new game. You've always got a bit extra to spend to get that momentum
momentum,
going and
yeah.
getting set up, and then after that it tapers out.
That's it. And sometimes, when I order from Spectre Minis, and I've done the 3 orders from Spectre, it's £60, gives you free shipping worldwide.
Yep.
So that's $120 roughly. That's AUD.
Yep.
So you crank it out. It's not a hard and fast sort of budget. What I do though with my missus is I like to remind her that if I did up cars, or if I had a ridiculous hobby like dirt biking or something
Yeah.
like that, the amount I'd be spending on my hobby is far more, and I'd have beat up Tehran and
Are you-
sitting in the front yard.
What about fishing? Like boat, your rods,
Yeah.
your baits, all that gear.
None of
Just
us
a boat.
smoke.
Yeah.
None
Yep.
of us are smoking cigarettes and all this sort of stuff.
No,
as
not
well.
ciggies.
Doing hard
So-
drugs. Well,
Yeah,
I'm not
so
doing hard drugs.
how
How about you
much-
two?
Define hard.
Like a packet of cigarettes, how much are they these days? Like,
Expensive.
yeah.
Yeah, it's $30.
So,
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's an Infinity Mini
That's
right
a
off.
bloody-
That's three.
That's
There,
some
yeah.
rule books right there.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't feel any guilt or anything around my hobby. I just say, hey, this is what I do. And, you know, again, I'm lucky enough. I'm in a professional career. I earn a decent coin. I'm at a time in my life. I had times in my life where I couldn't spend money because I was a poor uni student or whatever, or I had, you know, getting a house built or something like that, and you had to save your pennies. But we're at the point now where, you know, we have that luxury, and it is a luxury. You know, I think I'm pretty lucky, and I don't know, you guys, similar situations?
Oh, well, Greg's flicking it off straight away.
I'm still trying to do the maths.
I have no such mechanisms. If I see something and I like it, I'll get it. But how I remain disciplined in it is a lot of the times until I'm finished painting something. And this is a good way for people to not end up with just piles of stuff unpainted at home. Until I've painted it, I'm not buying anything else. Now, the only way that changes sometimes is if I'm starting a new system.
Yep.
If I'm starting a new system, like when we did with The Walking Dead, it was like, oh crap, I want to buy a whole bunch of houses. I bought a whole bunch of houses, and I bought this and this and a couple of items just to get the kick-up start going, so that I could, once it was all done, I had something to play with straight away on the table. But the best way I found for me is, you know, like the Romans. I bought the Romans, I've painted the Romans, now I go and buy something else. Once that arrives, I'm back to painting again. So
Yep.
that kind of stops me. But as far as an actual amount, I don't actually have one.
Awesome advice, and I really wish I could take that. And you know what? I probably during the fantasy era, I was 100% the same. I'd be like, buy a unit of Swordmasters or whatever and paint them up, and that'll be cool. But ever since I've got into Infinity, and it's getting worse and worse. Like I live by that mantra, and man, I'm stockpiling stuff at such a rate of knots.
I don't understand. It's a skirmish game that you're getting
but the
so
miniatures
much
are-
stuff.
That's how they sell it to you, though.
But I've got
Yeah.
just in the past few weeks, I've bought Nauf, which comes with the manga magazine. I got the manga magazine for the miniature, by the way. The Yan Yans, which there's two of them. I bought a tag, Scarface. I bought another 2 tags last week, and I bought all the miniatures for the MyCast Masterclass, which is another podcast, an Infinity podcast. Bought all the miniatures for them. Realized I didn't like one, and then bought another miniature last week.
So
This is all in the last 4 weeks.
in the last 4 weeks, how much? Because I don't know what these are worth each. Do you think?
I'm guessing
Just
probably
eyeballing it, what do you think?
$250 roughly. I'm guessing.
That's over a month though.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah.
bad. That's about what I'd spend.
How much did you say? Just over $200.
Uh,
You're doing 100 a fortnight.
100 fortnight? Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
just spot on.
oh no, but the problem is that's my
Oh,
stockpile.
that's just Infinity
That's just Infinity, yeah. Then there's X-Wing for the kids.
for the kids.
Yeah.
and
Kids.
Halo.
And Halo for the kids.
But see, you're actually catering for 3 gamers.
Yeah.
Your budget stretches.
That's the way I tell
Yeah,
myself.
but that's him using rationale to
Yeah, that's me.
excuse his
Yeah.
spending habits.
and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And also I take a leaf out of your book, Molly. If I see something that I like, I'll just go out and get it. I
yeah,
don't
if
really
something extra comes out that you
Yeah.
just
have
not
to have.
planning for it, or,
Yeah.
and it just you're like, oh, okay, that's where you can go and splurge. But the reason you can go and do that is because the rest of the time you've had some system in place to kind of keep you in check in some format.
Yeah.
Also, there was the Luxumbria Kickstarter that ended this month. I just raised my backer kit up for that as well.
Nice. Yeah.
So,
But Kickstarters don't count.
oh,
That's
oh,
my rationale.
they don't count. Okay,
They don't
good.
count because
yeah.
it's for the future.
That's lay-by.
Yeah, you know.
Even you still got to pay right on the spot though.
Oh yeah. And do board games count?
Yes,
Oh,
Yeah.
All right.
and video games.
Oh yeah. Oh, no, I'll stick to 100. 100 fortnight.
I would say if I was going to put a monetary value on it, I'd say probably 3,000 a year. I would say, which sounds a lot, but when you divide it by 12, that's about 250, I reckon, a month.
Yeah, I reckon that's fair. That's
But
about
by
what
the time
I
you
spend.
take, you buy brushes and paints, and then all the miniatures.
Actually, that's sometimes the most expensive part. I don't know how many times
Yeah.
you go, oh, all right, got this stuff here I want to paint. Oh, I need new bases. Oh, I need a new movement tray. Oh,
Yeah.
bloody red paint's all dried up. Oh, this
I actually
box is crap.
stopped buying Hackerslam miniatures because I was sick of spending money on these resin bases that I started using when I thought I only need 20, 30 miniatures.
And it
Now I've
just
got
keeps
100 of the bastards.
Yep.
I've spent more money on bases, I think, than I have for other entire armies. Just for these guys.
I keep getting mine from Back to Basics, the MDFs.
Yeah.
For all the stuff,
Yeah.
for all the ones that I do now. Because they rank up really easy. They're actually, and they're just it's so quick.
Yeah, they're very good.
Yeah.
Wow. That wasn't too bad. I was worried that we'd shine some light on some skeletons there. But
No. I
That
think
makes me
we're-
feel good.
I
Maybe I
think
should
we're
spend
fine.
more.
I think what we need to do, though,
That wasn't a free license.
is since we've bared our wallets, essentially, to the listeners,
Oh, yeah.
invite the listeners to
How about
let us
Burgers
know.
tell us how much he's spending?
I think,
He,
Greg, we're calling you out here, buddy. You
he
pop this
plays-
question.
He plays about 30 different games.
He plays
so
everything, doesn't he?
Yeah.
What does he not play?
I don't. Maybe Little Pony or something. That's a game, right?
No.
I think you'll find it is.
I should have called you the brony, not Greg.
Yeah, I
That's
think it's My Little Pony.
Listeners, if you do play My Little Pony, just unsubscribe. No, just jokes. Everyone's free to enjoy their hobby the way they wish to, generally. Alright, so cool. That's the whip around. Thanks very much. Reminder to our listeners, if you do have a question, feel free to get in touch, let us know, and we'll do our best to answer it or sidestep it, depending on whether our wives are going to listen. Thank you very much. What this will lead us to, though, however, is, of course, the main segment.
You are listening to Power Stance Gamers. And now, this.
Alright, so what we're going to talk about for our main segment tonight is another one that was posted up by a listener. I can't remember who it was. I feel terrible. I'm the worst host ever. And it's a question that it speaks to us as gamers and family men and people with busy lives as well. And I'm sure it will apply to a lot of listeners too, is how do you find that hobby-life balance? There's a lot of stuff, about the work-life balance and switching off your phone when you get home from work so you don't have to listen to your co-workers' shitty emails and that sort of stuff. Is it the same with hobby? Are you able to find that line between your hobby and the rest of your life, or does sometimes that line get blurred? And sometimes does it go a bit too far? So I'm going to throw to Greg as the most prepared member of this.
Yeah, check out these
Team.
notes. Holy
Yeah,
crap.
Jesus.
I have to say,
I've got no notes for this stuff.
I really struggle with this topic because I think I'm drifting more into the
You're
doing
dangerous.
too much.
You're
Yeah,
getting
I'm
dangerous.
dangerously heading towards like
Because you're going,
gameaholic.
Yeah.
Would that be such a term?
you're going to sleep at night unable
Yeah.
to get stuff working
Oh, look,
properly.
I'm not telling lies. Last week, I was struggling sleeping because I couldn't switch off from stuff buzzing around in my head. Probably 3 or 4 nights in a row, I was really struggling
Oh, right.
from reading rules and
Mm.
stuff and thinking
Yep.
about gaming in general. So, I guess I'm quite an intense person, and the
Is he?
whole...
Do you reckon? Intense is a word we use to describe our
No,
mate
I
Greg.
think he's just a nutcase.
I guess going back the reason why I play is the tactics and the strategy and all that sort of stuff. And we were approaching the game with Lachlan, and I kept thinking about my list and what a change. And even on such a small point, I kept thinking, I should drop this out, put this in. It was only 2 models I was talking about, but I couldn't figure it out in my head. It was just driving me insane. In the end, I obviously lumped for a choice and I thought I'll run with it, and that was that. But
So is this? And so you just basically you went with the other strategy of lowering the height of your ceiling to try and knock him out instead.
to bang his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But I have to say to our listeners, I did struggle with this concept because I'm a family man. I've got a partner. I've got 2 kids. My kids are aged 10 and 13. And there isn't a day or probably a week that I go by and think back over the previous week, could have done better, could have been a better father, could have been a better partner. Is there something I could have done? And I always sort of think, well, maybe, stop hobbying and spend more time with the family and stuff. And don't get me wrong, and the guys here will vouch for me that come weekends, generally I don't play any war games. It's only a Friday night that you'll see me, if you're lucky, and otherwise Saturday and Sundays are very much fat for family time.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when I'm getting bombarded with lots of Facebook messages from our gaming groups, and I'm constantly on my phone, which I am at the moment, and my iPad researching various bits and pieces, then weekends aren't necessarily family time, they're also gaming time.
Can I jump in there? Because that's a really interesting point. Social media, the accessibility to conversation. I'm there's never anyone that spoke on the phone, and even when you guys call me up, I'm like, oh, I don't want to talk on the phone. Let's, it's just my brain.
Yep.
I hate it. But social media is different. I will be posting memes like a motherfucker in all my chats because that's just, unfortunately, what I do.
It's easy.
It's easy, and it's dynamic, and it's straight away, and you've got multiple people coming in, and you can link pictures and all that sorts of stuff. And I find that's a big part for me, is getting that balance and putting my phone away. And yes, social media can be actually pretty evil.
I also have to say that getting this whole, thinking about this topic tonight and getting my mind around it, I did go back to a period probably 6 months ago, maybe a year ago, where I was to do a painting, right? And I was getting really frustrated with this particular miniatures painting. It wasn't working out. I was just getting the shits with it, and I was getting annoyed, and it started affected my family life, where Cherokee did say, hang on a second, do you not think you need to take a break? I'm like, no, I don't need to take a break, I'm fine! And I was like, maybe she's just touched a raw nerve there. So after I finished this particular miniature, I did actually pack all my stuff away for about a week, maybe 2 weeks, and it felt bloody great. It actually felt like I actually had a weight off my chest.
Can I jump in?
Of course.
This is an Infinity model, let me guess.
Yep.
Are they making Infinity models out of something that's causing this? Are they lacing it with something?
Maybe it's still lead.
Is that what's happening here?
It's getting lead poisoning.
Because I can't, I paint my unit and I'm not stressed about anything I'm quite happy just plodding along, do my thing, and then it's done.
Greg does hold his painting to a much higher standard than you or I, though.
I know, but at the end of the day, he's probably spending about as much time doing it, except I'm doing 20-odd models to your one.
That's, you know what, you've hit the nail on the head, you're exactly right. And then the other thing is the guilt of sitting there, and for example, my Joan of Arc miniature would have took 30 plus hours, maybe even 40, probably more like 40 hours than 30, of solid time. And I'm thinking, when I'm lying on my deathbed, am I going to look back and go, is that time I should have been playing football with, the kids out the back? Yeah. Really? Or is that really the best use of my time? And then, look, that's my thought process. But at the end of the day, the crux of it is, when I sort of looked at the whole thing, you got to do what makes you happy at the end of the day, within reason. And I do, don't get me wrong, listeners, I do play with my kids, just to put your mind at ease. But that thought process, there's a bit of guilt there, 100%. Definitely a bit of guilt.
Wow. Yeah. I'm thinking about my experience is I have a wife who works night shifts, and she has for 10 years now. So she works from 6 p.m. to midnight, basically, every night. So we kind of had this routine where I'd come home from work, we'd eat dinner early, she'd go to work, I'd put the kids to bed. But then I'd have like 4 or 5 hours where I'm sitting there twiddling my thumbs. And that's always when I use my hobby time. It's been interesting that as she's been off work with my son being born, so she's been off work for 11 months now. She's gone back to work this week. It's actually been a bit more difficult trying to fit that hobby time in, because even though there's both of us home, I feel like I've got much more of an obligation to be doing stuff there.
I'm going to agree with you 100%. I'm the night shift guy. So when I wake up, I'm by myself. My kids are already at school. I do a bit of sports. That's my balance. But when say I'm staying up late and there's nothing to do, that's when I'll crack on with the paints. That's how I have my balance. It's very similar. So a lot of the time when I'm painting, there's generally no one home or they're asleep.
Yeah. It did get to a point though when before Finn was born and Jerry was working and Lil was a bit younger, where I was 4 or 5 nights a week hosting games at my place. We were playing Star Wars RPG.
It was a lot of fun.
And Fantasy and Blood Bowl, and it was Infinity, and basically every night something was on. And I don't think it affected me professionally, because I'm a teacher. Let's be honest here. But I'm a teacher that gets to work at 8 and leaves at 5, and I work that whole time because I don't want to take my work home.
Yep.
And I don't want to be the kind of teacher that goes, oh, I've got so much marking to do. No, you just shut your mouth and do it at work, okay?
Yep.
And so I don't bring work home from work. So it's not like it was affecting me professionally or anything like that, but it was certainly bringing up some late nights when I probably should have been getting an early night.
That's actually a very good point, because I made a life change 2 years ago. In fact, 2 years ago in about 2 weeks, where I went from pretty hardcore, stressful job in the city to a much more laid back, in fact, it's a piece of piss, government job now where it's a 9-day fortnight. It's set hours from whatever time in the morning, from 7 till 4, and as soon as I leave at 4 o'clock, I do not think about work at all. In fact, as the guys will say, you go home the weekend and you come into work on a Monday morning, you don't even know half the time what the hell you were doing on Friday because you just switch off that much.
Yep.
And whereas previously, the only way I could stop thinking about work was to do hobby stuff, was to play games or paint. That's the only thing. So I'll be walking around a shopping centre, and instead of thinking about groceries or my family, I'd be thinking about my work and what I had to achieve to get results for the business or whatever I had to do. And that was just, it's just
so have you
pressure.
Have you replaced that that whole encompassing thing of work with hobby now?
Yeah, 100%.
Because you
Yep.
can.
Yep, because it has. That's filled the void.
Okay.
Because my brain's so active that if it doesn't, I need to have something to constantly ping, I constantly think about. And so when it's not work, it's hobby. And I said to Cherokee last night, we were talking about this in the podcast, I said, what's your thoughts about me doing this? And she said, well, when you're not with us, as in you're not watching a movie or playing a game as a family or playing with kids, watching them play cricket, I'm hobbying. I am like, every spare minute of my time is hobbying. I'll get home from work, and if kids are doing their homework, I'll sit down, crack the paints out, do some painting, or I'll read rules, or I'll do this, or I'll do that. I'm every minute of my day where I'm not doing something that's not family orientated. It's my time. It's 100% hobby.
Has Infinity, mate? You don't liken this back to Infinity. It's not Infinity.
No, it's not Infinity. If it wasn't Infinity, it'd be another game
wrong.
system that would have filled that void. Infinity just has done it so well because it's such a complex game. It's perfect. It's a perfect fit for my personality.
And beautiful miniatures.
Are you getting
absolutely.
bent over the painting more or the game more?
The painting really irritates me to the point where, so for example, today we had this podcast. I couldn't paint this afternoon when I got home from work. That annoys me because I can't sit down at the table and knock over half an hour, which will save me an hour tomorrow, which then that saves me an hour before the weekend, so on and so forth. And even at the weekend, I will, like during the week, I will wash the washing and I'll do all housework as much as I can. So say if I've got half an hour block where I'm not hobbying, I can knock over this job. So that means that gives me this half an hour. I've gained a half an hour on Saturday now because I've done this particular job during the week. Is that a problem? Do you reckon that's OCD?
I don't think I think it's a problem because
I just say it's being efficient. That's all I say. I'm being and I've always been like, because I guess I'm a project manager.
It would be a problem if you go, I should do the laundry now, but no, I'll do it later because I'm hobbying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Your priority is still in the right place. What you're doing is you're doing the work. You're doing your homework on a Friday, so you get all the work weekend to party.
That's right.
Okay.
I'm trying to be as efficient as possible.
That's what you're doing.
I'm trying to be the most efficient with my time.
I think you need to sport.
No. You get hurt in sport like you did. No, thank you.
And I'm better than ever.
With your little small right bicep.
No, it's getting back. It's getting back.
Muddy, what about you, man? You've been a bit quiet this one.
Well, because I don't get too wrapped up in this stuff. I paint when I have the time. If I don't have the time, I don't have the time. I'm more inclined to go do my sports.
Yeah.
Than to be worried about the painting. And the playing the games doesn't bother me either. Because I'm not as focused on trying to get my list right or anything else. To me, I'm more, as we've said, the aesthetics guy. I like to have the big army and my favourite unit, some big stompy monsters or whatever. I'm not worried about the rules necessarily to go with it. So my brain's relatively already thinking on other things, like probably my sports. I'm probably more into my sports.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, like if we go away, my wife will look up and go, okay, we're going to leave late on this day so you can go to the gym and train, and then come home and then we'll leave after that. Or I've looked it up, there's a gym nearby because we're going away for 5 days, so you can go train there.
Yeah.
So that's more where I'm a bit more anal in that area rather than necessarily the hobby. But if I don't have hobby, after I've done my sports time, I get bored really quickly. I find this kills my boredom when I'm just sitting around. So I know where you're coming from, Greg, where you're sitting at home, the kids are probably, let me guess, jumping on the consoles or something, or I come in here and knock out some minis and then go to work or have the night off and paint some more. But I never get bent about it. Like if I miss half an hour like painting, like you're just describing, that doesn't bother me. But if I had to miss one of my workouts at the gym, that annoys me.
Well, it's a similar sort of thing. Then,
Yeah,
similar
so
sort of
that's what I
mindset.
mean. We're similar, but I have
Skewed in a different way.
balance. Yeah.
Yep.
Jacob?
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't think I think it comes back a little bit to my ADD brain where I jump around. I have a short attention span.
Yeah.
And I always need new stuff popping up, and I can get something new, and I get really intense for a couple of weeks, and I'll go, oh shit, Spectre Miniatures is awesome. Here are the rules, and here I built my new table, and I've spent $300 on miniatures.
And then it sits there.
And then I go,
here's a tank to add to it.
right,
And a helicopter. And a
what's
plane.
next?
Yeah.
You know, like it's not necessarily a dedication thing or a time thing for me. It's kind of like jumping from project to project, and I do get intense. I have windows where I'll be like 3 or 4 days where all I can think about is the rules or the minis or what I'm going to do and planning these. And I plan hypothetical tournaments and conferences in my head where 300 people are playing Spectre Miniatures and it's fucking awesome and I've organized it all and I'm like, yay, Jacob. But it never happens because no one plays the game apart from me.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's kind of
There's
this.
anything wrong with the game. It's actually a good game.
Yeah. It's just a interesting sort of thing where it's my problem with balance is the jumping from project to project, army to army, thing to thing. And I think it could be something that flows on from one, playing Blood Bowl for so long.
Yep.
And then playing fantasy for so long.
Yep.
It's like when I had my eyes open going, there are so many cool games out there, I almost couldn't stop looking for the next new thing.
So, is this a post-world blowing up event, do you think, for you, that almost I was so focused in on this we'll say the fantasy game, and they've just blown it up on me? There's no point being so focused on one thing because something like this could happen again.
No,
In some way.
no,
No?
because you know, and we've gone through my thoughts on the end of fantasy. Was that I never felt like that was the end.
Yeah.
I felt that it was the end because people stopped playing. It wasn't the end because G-Dub said this is the end.
Yep.
So the fact that by necessity I had to find different games to play
Yep.
helped me there a little bit. But I think, yeah, my problem is those windows of like 3 or 4 days where I get obsessive.
Yep.
And but it doesn't just happen with gaming. Like it can happen. I'll pick up a book. Like I picked up the Marlowe detective stories, and I read 1930s pulp detective stories for a month, and that's all I could get into. And before that, I did Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu and Mountains of Madness. Like I devoured his entire catalogue, and that's all I could think about. So, you know, it's not just hobby, and it happens with movies and TV shows as well, as I kind of get intense on shit
Wow.
and need to back off.
So really,
Bet.
I'm the only normal one here.
No, mate, you're not normal.
Nah.
Just gotta look at you. Have you looked in the mirror?
Yeah, baby.
I have to also add that probably now more than ever, it is an amazing time for me personally to hobby, because my kids, and we're going to talk about the Star Wars X-Wing miniatures game after this in the next episode.
In the review episode, yeah.
The review episode. But they love their X-Wing, and they're at the age where they get it, and we can have a really good game, and I don't hold back from a playing point of view.
He tries to kick their ass.
Yeah.
I basically try and kick their ass, yeah.
It's how they
because
learn.
That's exactly right. And you know what? If they cry, it just makes them a better man. That's all I can
Well, he's
say.
never gone easy on me, no matter how much I cry.
But from a parenting point of view, it is incredibly rewarding to play with your sons, or play with your kids in general, not just sons. Play with kids in general in any war game where you got the miniatures, you got the dice. It is fantastic. And we also play. I also talk about this in previous episodes. Halo Ground Command,
Yeah.
and they've painted their miniatures. There's been a couple of Saturdays where all three of us, the two boys and me, have been sitting around the table, got our paints out, and we're into it. And that I have to sit back and just pinch myself and go, yeah, that's a pretty special
I
moment.
mean, and that's why I posted that photo of Lil Peyton with me, because it's that nice. It's a family moment where I know she's not, fingers
She's
crossed,
milking
she's not
it.
going to be a gamer,
She's
but,
milking it for the late
and she
bedtime.
might be doing that, but at the same time, this is some nice daddy-daughter time where we
Yeah.
can sit together.
You can't beat it. You
And,
really
yeah.
cannot beat it.
So I think that sort of stuff's important too. I mean, you're really lucky your boys are into gaming.
And look, it's not something I have pushed. They have totally, they've totally just gone, hey, Dad, that's, they saw the Space Marines again. They saw the Space Marines and wanted to paint them. And
Yep.
they wanted to play 40k.
Who doesn't want to paint Space Marines?
I reckon he brought the box home.
Right, kids, get in here. We're going to play Halo.
No, you don't paint them like that.
Dad,
You don't paint them like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Dad, we want to play Minecraft. Get in here. Push that model around.
I have to
Roll
say,
that dice.
for our listeners, when my kids first started playing, they would have been probably 6 and 9. And all we did was everything was a 4+. With Space Marines, it had 5 aside each. We played on the dining room table from memory, and they had a bunch of dice, and it was everything got hit in a 4+, everything saved in a 4+, and off the went. And they absolutely, even now, they still love it. So the rules get a bit complex as they get older, but the principles are still the same. And
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep,
it's great.
fun. Concept is fun, people.
And I think if we're going to come back to hobby-life balance, when you're not having fun,
Yep.
that's when you know.
That's when you know.
And if you're not having fun because your wife's up your butt about it, or you're not having fun because
Get a divorce.
you're the only one that's so intense on it, then I think that's the warning sign, isn't it? That I mean, this is something we do to relax. That this isn't a career. This is leisure time.
Mm.
So
No, it's not a job.
That's a tough one though, because I get really, when I'm trying to paint something, I'm trying to get a certain color to work, and it's not working. Oh, I get so shitty with it. Like, don't you stop it, and it really does wind me up.
Dude, just come to the gym with me.
Yeah, maybe I have to.
I'll belch you up.
But I go
I'll
running.
belch you up for
Okay,
an
I go
hour.
running. That's my.
Yeah.
So I'll go.
anything else we want to add?
Nah, my balance is good. I'm happy.
All right, I think that's a really good wrap up, guys. It's a tough topic, and I feel that there's been a bit of a sharing
I know.
overload here. But
I know. Maybe the listeners will have a few stories to tell as
yeah,
well.
again, I'm fascinated to hear what listeners have got to say about this topic.
Yeah, I didn't realise it was such a well.
But it's one of those things you don't think about it until someone prompts you, and then you go, yeah.
I just
Yeah.
want to probably as a final thought, I'll just chime in and say that certainly my partner 100% supports what I do. She doesn't necessarily.
Yeah, well, she's in the
she
backyard
does-
with you, helping you roll
Yeah.
Blood Bowl dice.
She doesn't necessarily want to do it, but she gets that I enjoy it,
Yep.
and she 100% supports it. And she, if we've got no family commitments on, and I say I've got a tournament coming up, she's like, yeah, 100% go for it. As long as there's no family stuff, it's always you do what you
Yeah.
want to do.
Yeah.
And certainly Monday to Friday during the week, it's as long as we don't have commitments, then
As long
off
as
you go.
nothing,
And
clashes.
yeah,
with
100%.
the clan.
Just as
Your
long as it's
priorities are
not
your family, and then
Yeah.
go from there.
Yeah, the
as
clan
long as it's
comes.
not
The clan comes
every night.
All right, so we might leave it there. It's starting to get a bit late, but before we do go,
Or
listeners, Muddy, tell us how our listeners can enter into the Archaon End of Times giveaway.
It's easy, brothers. First, you're gonna give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, and in 2 weeks, you're going to the dice off.
It's really that simple. Thank
It's
you.
that simple.
Oh God. So in case you missed that, listeners, what you need to do is leave us a review on iTunes,
5-star rating
5 stars, and then
on iTunes.
comment.
2 weeks.
Yeah, you got
Going to the dice off.
2 weeks to do this, and then comment on our Facebook page, and we will have a bit of a draw. We might even video record it and live stream it to the masses. What do you reckon, fellas?
I think that'd be awesome.
That sounds like a plan, brother.
We could do it in wrestling, like wrestling moves.
Gonna put leotards on.
I throw the dice from like the top ring.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is the point where we need to say good morning. So you can
Maybe
catch
good
us.
afternoon by the time they listen to this.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Latest fools.
Catch us on Podbean. Download us on iTunes. You can follow us on Facebook. Be sure to share this quality episode with all your friends. And as we said, leave us a 5-star review, comment on the thread, and you go in the draw to win the thing. Oh, and Twitter, Muddy. Yes, no?
Yes, brother.
Excellent, good stuff. Greg, thanks for talking.
Thank you.
Muddy, I'm scared to even throw to you. What do you got?
Thanks, guys. That was awesome.
Okay, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks.
Thank you for listening to Power Stance Gamers, the #1 place for tabletop banter. You know you love us. See you soon.
It's Eternal and Mix well on the track once again, killing it. T-Dot to Montreal connection, funk resurrection. Ha! Yeah. Once again. That Canadian flavor.
Power Stance Gamers, leave a message after the beep.
This is Nagash, Supreme Lord of the Undead. I am a long-time listener, first-time caller. Last week I heard that pathetic Cetra talking shit about his bitches. Please, that bony fuck has only slept with the village chariot-riding Queen Kalia. Ha! By all that is dead, she has slept with half of Kemri. Hardly something to be bragging about. Well, I must take my leave, for I have a date with Isabella and Neferata. I look forward to your next cast. Perhaps you mortals will serve me in your undeath as well. Peace.